Hello and welcome to the history of movie theaters and drive-ins for the Cleveland, Ohio area for 1920 to 1929. (1920) The Lyceum Theater reopens on May 25th. The Corlett Theater opens. The Palace Theater opened. The West Park Theater opens. These theaters also opened in 1920. These theaters closed in 1920. 1921. The Loew's State opened on February 5th at Playhouse Square with 3,446 seats. Loew's opens the Ohio Theater at Playhouse Square on February 14th as a live playhouse. The Hanna Theater opens as a live playhouse in Playhouse Square on March 28th. The Allen Theater opens on April 1st at Playhouse Square, which was built by Jules and J. Allen of Toronto with 3,009 seats. The Keith's 105th Street Theater opens on November 24th. The Grand Theater in Elora opens on December 25th. Allen Theaters also opened the Capitol Theater. The Circle Theater opens. The Lorraine Fulton Theater opens. The Park Theater opens. The Priscilla Theater opens. These theaters are sold to the Washington Circuit. These theaters closed in 1921. 1922. The Heights Theater opens on February 15th. The Lexington Theater opens on October 12th. The B.F. Keith's Palace Theater opens at Playhouse Square on November 6th as the world's finest playhouse. The Parkview Theater opens. The Ohio Theater in Lorain opens. These theaters are sold to Scoville, Essex and Reef. These theaters sold in 1922. 1923. The Keystone Theater opens. The Globe Theater opens. The Mayfield Theater opens. The National Theater at 5915 Landerbrook opens. The Terminal Theater opens. The Tivoli Theater opens. The Lincoln Theater in Lakewood opens. The Allen chain is taken over by famous players, who traded the Allen Theatre to Loew's for the Loew's Theatre in Montreal. The Capitol Theater is sold to the Ohio Amusements Company by Allen Theaters. 1924. The Garden Theater opened on August 30th. The Seas Theater opens. The Y Theater opens. The Detroit Theater in Lakewood opens. The Colonial in Elyria becomes the Rivoli Theater. These theaters closed in 1924. 1925. The Cameo Theater opens on November 25th. The Cedar Lee Theater opened on December 29th. The Euclid Beach Theater opens. The Kinsman Theater opens. The New Broadway Theater opens. The Park Theater becomes part of Loews. These theaters closed in 1925. 1926. The UB Theaters chain is established. The Plaza Theater opened on December 25th. The Ambassador Theater opens. The Imperial Theater opens. The Lyric Theater opens. The Ritz Theater opens. The Hoff 79 Theater is sold to the Washington Theater Circuit. The Kinsman Theater closes. 1927. UB Theaters becomes the Universal Variety Theaters. The Broadview Theater opened on January 16th. The Commodore Theater opened on September 3rd. The Loews Granada Theater opened on October 15th. The Astor Theater opened on November 24th. The Almira Theater opens. The Union Square Theater opened on May 21st. The Variety Theater is opened by Warner Brothers on November 25th. The Hillard Road Theater in Lakewood is opened by Universal Variety Theaters. The Park Theater is opened in Paynesville. The Arion and Plaza Theaters are sold to the Washington Circuit. These theaters closed in 1927. 1928. The Moreland Theater opened on January 12th. The La Salle Theater opened on March 1st. The University Theater opened on August 23rd. The Cinema opened on October 14th. The Uptown Theater is opened on November 22nd by Warner Brothers. The Ames Theater in Jefferson opens. The Palace Theater in Lorraine is opened by Warner Brothers. Loews takes over the Circle Theater. The Orpheum Theater on Wade Park closes. 1929. RKO takes over the Hippodrome Theater. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe.